Good morning everyone. Welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. Welcome to our daily Hindu newspaper analysis. I hope everyone is fit and fine and ready to start and jumpstart our session, right? Okay. So those who have joined, good morning to everyone. Very warm good morning to everyone, right? Okay. Today, we're going to start covering the analysis for today. First of all, look at the front page news for today. Concocted history led to a sense of inferiority, Prime Minister. Modi says a nation like India with such a glorious history must be full of self-confidence and self-respect. New India is correcting the mistakes of bygone decades by restoring its legacy. Basically, as I think most of you would be knowing that December 26, for the very first time, as it was declared last year that it would be celebrated as Veer Bal Divas. Very important. December 26 would be celebrated as Veer Bal Divas to commemorate the martyrdom of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the 10th Guru of the Sikh history, the martyrdom of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's younger sons, that were Sahibzada Baba Joravar Singh and Baba Fateh Singh. So basically, this particular day is now being commemorated in order to basically to recognize the martyrdom of Baba Joravar Singh and Baba Fateh Singh. So this December 26 is a very important day and you guys need to be aware of this thing, right? Okay, some student is saying thoda Hindi mein bhi bola karo. I would try. Okay, I would try because majority we have varied sections from entire parts of our country. I try to speak in a language that is, let's say, understandable by everyone, right? Okay, so this was our front page news and a very important that December 26 is being celebrated as the Veer Bal Divas, right? So this is the important thing that have come onto our front page. Now, let's move on and see the next news that we have to discuss, right? Okay. There was nothing much important on the regional page, on the states page, and even on the south page. There was nothing substantial that we needed to cover, right? Now, the most important thing is now the editorials, right? Now, I think everyone can see this particular editorial. Power roller coaster, the Maoists are back to sharing power despite not winning the mandate. So this is basically related to the yesterday's front page news where now our Prachanda has become the Prime Minister of Nepal despite not having the mandate. It is basically the coalition. So we need not to dwell that much into this particular editorial. The important thing that we need to refer is this particular editorial, a dismissed review petition, an egregious error. Now think everyone knows about the Bilkis Bano case, right? Now in the Bilkis Bano case, there have been developments that have been taking place related to the early release of the convicts according to Gujarat's remission policy. But the point over here is, in May, Supreme Court outrightly said that the appropriate government to decide whether that person shall be released who were the accused in this particular Bilkis Bano case, appropriate government to decide on the remission shall be the state government. That is the Gujarat government. But the place where they were sentenced, actually, if we talk about the convicts where they were sentenced in Bombay. So the main question here that has come is related to whether those persons shall have been given remission under the Gujarat's policy or not when they were convicted in the Bombay. So as a result, a review petition was filed in order to make sure Supreme Court reviews its decision. Very important. Now, Supreme Court has the authority to review its decision and that is being derived. It can review its decision from Article 137 of the Constitution. Very important. This is Article 137 of the Constitution. But every petition is not entertained by the Supreme Court. There are certain things that it needs to take care of when certain petitions are filed. The most important provision that is there in the review petition is if it would be filed only and only if there is a patent error. अगर उसके अंदर हमें कोई पेटेंट एरर दिख रहा है जो हमारी जजमेंट हुई है, मान लो सुप्रीम कोर्ट की, इफ देयर हैज बीन अ पेटेंट एरर देन ओनली दे वुड एंटरटेन द अपील ऑफ रिव्यू पिटीशन. बट sadly in this scenario of the Bilkis Bano case, Supreme Court outrightly dismissed this particular review petition. Now here is the thing of concern that this particular article wants to highlight upon, that this review petition shall not have been, let's say, dismissed. So this is an error that this particular article wants to illustrate upon. But one thing that could be a sigh of relief for Bilkis Bano, that is, after the review petition, there is a provision for curative petition as well. Now this curative petition, this particular thing has been evolved from the Supreme Court judgment. That was basically Rupa Hurra judgment of 2002, where after review petition has been dismissed, still the victim can go to Supreme Court and entertain for this curative petition. But the grounds for filing curative petition are somehow similar to that of review petition, and it is accepted in very rare and exceptional circumstances. So the thing before the Supreme Court is whether the victim's case would be heard in this particular curative petition or not. So you need to know the stance of the Supreme Court related to the appropriate government that they have dedicated to be the Gujarat government. She filed a review petition that was not entertained. Now the only chance for her to get herself the justice is basically the curative petition, and that idea of curative petition has been evolved from this judgment, that is the Rupa Hurra judgment. I hope this point is clear to everyone and is aware of the surroundings and the developments that are taking place around the Bilkis Bano case. One thing I want to tell you, the convicts were not, let's say, charged in the Gujarat State's High Court because the scenario was not that right. As a result, that was shifted from Gujarat to special CBI court that was in Bombay. I hope this point is clear to everyone. That is why convicts were sentenced there. So this is the particular debate that has been surrounding around this whole issue, right? Okay. So this was our first article that we had to discuss upon, right? Now, this is also a very, very interesting article. It says a warship program that go full steam ahead. Now, I think everyone knows that Indian Navy is trying to build its strength and its capabilities. Recently, we had developed our indigenously built aircraft carrier. I think everyone knows the name. Just write it in the comment box. It was by the name, I am taking a little time, that is INS. Waiting for your response in the comment box. The first indigenously built aircraft carrier, it is INS Vikrant. This is the first aircraft carrier that we have. There are a lot of other aircraft carriers that we have also. Along with it, we have INS Vikramaditya, but that is not indigenously built. That is basically taken from the Russia. So we have two aircraft carriers till now. One is INS Vikrant and second one is this INS Vikramaditya that has been taken up from the Russia. Now they are saying the earlier aircrafts that we had, let's say during the British time, INS Vikrant, INS Virat, they are mostly light aircraft carrier. Now there is a certain classification among the aircraft carriers. They could be light, they could be medium, they could be large. It depends upon how much aircraft they could carry. Let's say light aircraft has the capacity to carry 30 aircraft. Medium has the capacity around 30 to 50. And let's say finally we have the large aircraft carrier that has the capacity to carry 19 aircrafts. Now the question here that is in front of us is, recently we are trying to make a similar aircraft carrier, that is Indian Aircraft Carrier 2 on the lines of INS Vikrant. But the question over here is, China is also trying to increase its surveillance in the Indian Ocean region. It is developing more and more aircraft carriers, and the aircraft carriers that they are building, they are much, let's say, our ones are in the light category, their ones are in the category of medium to large. So we have to make sure that if we are developing a new aircraft carrier that shall have more capacity and shall be more technologically advanced so that it could give a competition to, let's say, Chinese aircraft carriers, because this Indian Ocean region has now become a bone of contestation where each power is trying to have its influence. And when I talk about this particular region, the major powers that are over here are the India and the China. So this is the theme of the article that it wants to highlight upon, that a warship program basically related to this aircraft carriers, it must go full steam. Full steam का मतलब क्या है कि भाई इसको अपनी कैपेसिटी ज्यादा बढ़ानी चाहिए, ज्यादा से ज्यादा लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी यूज करके हमें और अच्छे तरीके से अपनी स्ट्रेंथ को इंक्रीज करना है. Right? So these are the basic theme of this particular editorial. So we have discussed two editorials. One is related to review petition that is being dismissed by Supreme Court, and second one is related to this. Okay, shall we start the session? Right. Okay. We have already discussed the editorials, right? So we would be coming to the next part. Okay, now this is not that important. We will try to come to this part. Okay, now this is the part where it is in the news, right? We need to know related to this thing. Now, very important, expedite classification of nomadic tribes in quota list, panel tells center. Now, there has been this particular thing, this parliamentary panel has said about why are the 260 denotified, nomadic and semi-nomadic tribes have not been included in the SC, ST and the OBC list. Why they have not been updated? Government wants to add more and more people to this particular list because they want to start their particular scheme by the name of SEED scheme, that is Scheme for Economic Empowerments of DNTs. Very important, Scheme for Economic Empowerment of DNTs, right? Okay. अब ये जो स्कीम है ये बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है, दैट इज स्कीम फॉर द इकोनॉमिक एम्पावरमेंट ऑफ DNTs. व्हाई? बिकॉज हेयर we want to make sure that we are providing housing facilities, infrastructure facilities and educational facilities and coaching facilities to these particular denotified semi-nomadic tribes. Now this thing is very important. As a result, because there has been a little bit delay in relation to particularly recognizing these particular communities, as a result, we need to make sure that these are getting notified within a very small time of frame. Now, one thing that you guys need to remember, that there is a commission that has been charged with responsibility in order to, let's say, identify these particular tribes, and name of that particular commission is very important, IDATE Commission. Very important, the name of the commission is IDATE Commission. I think you have now got this particular point, right? So the thing here is expedite classification of nomadic tribes in quota list, panel tells center, because this is the scheme that has been basically set by the center that we have to implement this. So we need to make sure that we are notifying these nomadic tribes as soon as possible so that we are able to include them in the SC/ST list, right? I think this point is clear to everyone, right? So this was an important thing that we had in this news page. Now, moving on to the next part. Now this news is very important, guys. National Commission on Protection of Child Rights warns NGOs, very important, warn NGOs over depiction of vulnerable children for fundraising. Now NGOs are certainly using certain deprived people, using them and highlighting the problem of malnutrition in India. Now this is the thing that is very concernable. Not every children is malnutrition, and you cannot put the children of India in that spotlight. As a result, National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights has warned NGOs, over the depiction of vulnerable children for fundraising. Now this thing is very, very important to understand, that we have to make sure that this National Commission is saying that the NGO campaigns that are being run, like Khushi campaign, they are not using the children because it is against the Juvenile Justice Act. It is against the Juvenile Justice Act. But one thing we always forget, yes, this thing shall not be done. People shall not be, or the children shall not be used and highlighted in such a deplorable manner. But one thing that we guys need to understand, that in the Global Hunger Index, very, very important, in the Global Hunger Index, our rank is 107 out of 121 countries. Now this thing highlights the problem that we are trying to avoid, that India is scoring very poorly in the numbers of Global Hunger Index. That is, we are at the rank of 107 out of 121 countries. Now this thing is very, very important to understand, that yes, this shall not be used by the NGOs in order to see make sure कि plight children की ऐसे सामने आ रही है, but हम इस चीज से पीछे छुप नहीं सकते हैं कि ग्लोबल हंगर इंडेक्स में हमारी हालात बहुत बुरे हैं, right? So this is the theme of this particular news, that it wants to highlight that NCPCR warns NGOs over depiction of vulnerable children for fundraising. I hope this point is clear to everyone, right guys? हाँ जी, इतनी बात क्लियर है? Yes, basically we are saying methodology is not right, that is a concern, but 121 countries are also there. 121 countries are also there. We need to make sure that actually में क्या problem है, right? तो ये चीज को हमें अंडरस्टैंड करना होगा कि कहीं ना कहीं if we are performing badly among 121 countries, there could be certain problem in the problem of hunger in the country. There is a problem of malnutrition in the country. There is a problem of child wasting in the country. There is a problem of child stunting in the country. I hope this point is clear to everyone, right? Okay. Moving to the next news. Now, one thing that is very, very important over here is Center mandates universal digital capturing of MG Narega attendance. Now, this thing is very, very interesting. Earlier this year, government has notified certain rules that on a, let's say, site, MG Narega site, where at least 20 workers are working, it needs to be time mapped and it needs to be geo-tagged for a duration of 2 times in a day. Very, very important. दिन में 2 बार time mapping और geo mapping होनी चाहिए, so that we are able to know whether, let's say, actually में people वहां पे काम कर रहे हैं या नहीं कर रहे हैं. Now, who would be making sure that this particular thing is working? Basically, these are the people who are called the mates, or we call them as supervisors. Very, very important. हम इन्हें mates बोलते हैं या supervisors बोलते हैं, जो बहुत ज्यादा important है. These are the persons who would be the ones that would be actually doing what? They would be the ones that would be using a certain app by the name of NMMP. Very, very important. मोबाइल मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम के थ्रू मैपिंग की जाएगी, और अब 1 जनवरी से ये जो 20 वर्कर्स वाली प्रोविजन थी, इसको खत्म कर दिया गया है. Now there is no provision as such that there shall be at least how many persons, right? Now, if there is any MG Narega site, it has to be geo-tagged and it has to be time mapped, let's say, for at least 2 times in a day. This is the system that has been enrolled, that is center mandates universal digital capturing of MG Narega attendance, so that in actual we are able to know how many people are working on which part of the time of the day. I hope this point is clear to everyone, right everyone? Hanji. If it is clear to you and you are understanding this, okay, are you with me related to this particular topic? Hanji. Just give me a vote. Okay, this is our world page. We have already discussed Prachanda sworn in as Nepal MP. Okay, Hanji. One thing I want to ask you guys, I think everyone is aware of the bomb cyclone that has come up in United States of America and Canada. Does anyone know the name of this bomb cyclone? Right. If anyone knows the name of this particular bomb cyclone. Hanji. If you know, write it in the comment box ASAP. What is the name of the bomb cyclone? No, it is not Drizzle. Hanji. It is not Drizzle. Anyone who, the 39 students who are online with us, does anyone know the name of the bomb cyclone? Okay, I would tell you, very, very important. It is not Blizzard. It is basically Elliot. If you haven't written it down, write it down somewhere in your notes that it is basically Elliot. That is the name of this bomb cyclone that has created a havoc. Initially, it started as a low pressure zone in the Rocky Mountains, after which cold air comes from the Arctic region. It intensified this whole low pressure region that resulted in the creation of this particular, if we call it the bomb cyclone. As a result, now the name of this cyclone, we shall know it is the Elliot cyclone, right? So this is the very important thing that you guys need to know, right? Okay, guys. So this was it in this page, nothing important in the economics page, and yes, we are done with this particular topic for today, right, guys? So thank you so much. You have been a wonderful audience. This has been the thing or the news for the today. You must be knowing about that today is yesterday it was the Veer Bal Divas. There are two important articles. One is related to the warships that we are having, and second thing that we guys need to know is related to this review petition. National Commission Protection on Children Rights has warned the NGOs that what they are doing is against the Juvenile Justice Act, and now there would be universal attendance irrespective of any worker that is working on the MG Narega site. It has to be geotagged, it has to be time tagged in the latest app, that is National Mobile Monitoring System. I hope this point is clear to everyone. We shall see each other tomorrow, same time, 9 AM. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Thank you. Okay, Ansh, you can get the PDF on our Telegram channel. The link is in the, let's say, our description section, and you can take the link from that site, right? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you guys.